Hey guys, Mix here, and in today's video, as you guys can tell from the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be revealing my new car that I just bought. And this, honestly, it's not just for like the title, it's honestly has been one of my dream cars. But as you guys know, in the last video, we just picked up this, my 1963 Ford Galaxy that I bought as a project. But I'm going to have some more details on this in just a little bit. It's been a little bit since this thing has ran, and it's like 35 degrees out right now. It's like coldest day of the year so far. So definitely let this thing warm up. She's making 75 pounds of oil pressure. Yeah, she's cold. While this thing is warming up, I just want to give you guys a little briefing about what's going on, why I bought this car, and what I'm going to be doing with it. So we're going to be taking the MG over there to show you guys the new car. I'm not keeping this car outside because honestly, I think this is the nicest car I've ever owned. So I definitely want to treat it right and how it should be treated. I mean, the car is like 60 years old, so I definitely want to try and keep it in the best shape I can possible. But I already have a box of parts here ready to go for this thing. But let's start heading over there, and I'll explain to you a little bit more on the way about what's going to be going on with the Galaxy and what to expect from this car. But I definitely think that you guys are going to love this car. There's really not a lot about these cars on YouTube or just in real life in general. They're really not seen, so that's enough chit chat. Let's get over there. Alrighty guys, so the car, I'm just gonna tell you guys, so the car I bought is a 1964 Volvo 1800S. This is a car that I've never actually seen in real life until the one I went and saw and bought. So the very first one I've ever seen in real life was, I guess, mine. Now there's always been ad listings for them that I've seen online, but nowhere really around where I live. But this one I found on Facebook Marketplace, and it was within a drivable distance. It was about 5 hours each way that I went and rented a truck and trailer to get this thing. I didn't really bother recording going there too much just because I really wanted to focus on driving because I wasn't allowed on parkways, because I had to rent a little big rig to get there. But it was a very long drive, but it was definitely well worth it. Middle of nowhere. Because this car is so sick, but it needs a lot of work. So the Galaxy could be such a sick project car, but it needs body work. And I'm kind of realizing that without a garage, I'm sure, yes, we'd be capable to do it, but as you guys know with the Corvette, I've been waiting forever to try and paint this thing because I need a garage. Yes, we painted the T-top, so we kind of learned with that, but to do the whole car, I can't do that in my shed. So, oh, this car sounds so good. Galaxy is gonna need a lot of body work to get it to really how it should be. So I've decided that I'm going to actually sell the Galaxy before I get too deep into it. It could be such a cool car, but I'll give it to somebody that has the capabilities to make that car what it should be. And this car, the bodywork on it is pretty good. Obviously it's not perfect because it is a 60-year-old car, but it's kind of like this car, the MG. So it just needed mechanical work. Like when we got this car, the engine, it didn't run, but the body on this car is absolutely gorgeous. Really all we did is detail it. It doesn't have any major rust, which is kind of my thing, is I like cars that need mechanical work, but not so much body work. So this new car that I bought, the Volvo, is just like this, where mechanically it needs a lot of love. It's been sitting for most of its life, and it really just needs a lot of attention to get it to how it should be. Also similar to the Corvette, I mean obviously the Corvette body isn't great, but when we got it, nothing inside worked, none of the gauges worked. And it's pretty much similar with the Volvos, that pretty much none of the gauges work inside. It runs a little bit rough. It does run and drive and stop barely. You really have to put the brake pedals to the floor, but you guys will see what I mean. We are almost there, and I cannot wait to show you guys this car. So guys, here is my new 1964 Volvo 1800S. So this car is just like a little James Bond car. It was actually used way back in the day in a show called The Saint. It was kind of like a James Bond type style, and this is the car that they used actually, but the spec on this car is what I love most. Black with red interior has been the most desirable spec that I've been looking for such a long time. It might look nice. If we look a little bit closer, it needs work in a lot of areas. So it doesn't run, although in the montage it might have looked like it fired right up. It actually took forever to start. The weather stripping is so bad. I mean, this is all like rock solid. You can actually see through it. The interior, yep, the interior is super rough. I mean, everything is really falling apart. All these knobs are shot. The seats have jeans on the bottom of that. So that's a little interesting. Literally everything is loose. Everything squeaks. See, that's loose. This is all loose. A ton of play in this. But it does have a full-size spare. Came with the carpet. Car is solid. No serious rust anywhere, and these were super prone to rusting. But oh, it is such a good-looking car. So as you guys saw, I had a box of parts in the MG that I'm gonna be throwing on this car. Just after like a quick little scan of the car, I basically just, while I was at work, ordered a bunch of stuff. I guess once we really start diving into it, we can really see what this car actually needs. But I'll show you guys under the hood. It's a big latch under here that you just throw down. And there is the engine. So this engine is a B18 Volvo engine, and it is mated with a 4-speed transmission with overdrive, which is awesome because none of my cars are good on the highway. So hopefully this I can actually cruise down the highway with. But it has twin SU carbs, which you guys know were on the MG that I switched to a Weber because I could not get these things to run good at all. Then again, my MG didn't run with them at all. This car does run with it, so I'm going to try and keep them because I do hear that they are good carbs once they're synchronized. And that is kind of like the big issue with them. So yes, this car does run and everything like that, but under load it sputters really bad, and I think that these might be out of synchronization. But the previous owner did put on a new fuel pump and fuel filter, so it should be having clean fuel to go in there. But he did say that when he got it, it wasn't running at all because the fuel lines were all clogged, and he did say that the tank, the same tank that he got it with, is still in the car right now. So hopefully we just have to keep an eye on the filter. Right now it looks decently clean, really not enough to clog these things up, but who knows, they could be a little bit gummed up here and there. So once we really start diving into this car, we'll start ironing out all the kinks. As you can see, like, there's no weather stripping on this car. Under the hood, under the trunk, all the weather stripping is shot here, so that's also another reason of why I'm keeping this car inside. And I haven't even washed it yet. The paint, I cannot wait to like detail this thing. The paint on it is pretty dirty right now. You can kind of see just a layer of like dust and filth all over this thing, so I can't wait to wash it and wax it for the first time. This paint is going to clean up super nice, and I think these wheels will clean up too pretty good with like a good like chrome polish or something like that. It does have new tires on it, and I love the way that when the doors open up, they kind of go up a little bit. On Aston Martins they do that, and ultimately my ultimate dream car is probably an Aston Martin, because I'm just always been obsessed with those cars. But this is as close to an Aston Martin as I'm gonna get right now, and I'll take it because this car is absolutely gorgeous. This happens when we're loading the car in the trailer. It may or may not have fallen off the trailer because the wheelbase was super narrow and the trailer that I had was pretty wide, and it just fit, thank God, because I ended up driving 300 miles to get this car. Well, it's dark, 7 at night. Started this drive at 9 a.m. We are almost there. Car is still on the back, I think. But wow, am I tired. And luckily we made it here safely. And here's a look inside of the car. Actually, just when I fired it up now, the tachometer started working for the very first time. The speedo works intermittently, which I actually do have a new one already. These don't work. The oil pressure does work, fuel gauge works, and the clock doesn't work. And I already have all new parts for this already, so we could go ahead and dive right into it once we start working on this thing. Horn doesn't work. I'm really just showing everything about how bad this car is so far. We'll end up looking back on this video once this thing is ready for car shows and everything like that. But I will go ahead and fire it up for you guys here. The brake pedal is super soft. Interior is kind of falling apart a little bit. So it fires up pretty good once it's warm. It has pretty good oil pressure too, but as you can see, we are rolling. Yeah, that's doing absolutely nothing. Doesn't sound too bad. These engines always have a little bit of like a, kind of like a little bit of like a click to it, which I thought was lift a tick, but we'll see how it sounds under load. I mean, it has great oil pressure, but then again, kind of everything's unknown about this car. But everything goes into gear, it goes into all 4 gears. I haven't tried overdrive yet. I do have a new switch for that, because that is not good to look at. And believe it or not, it does have back seats that, I mean, if you sit on it, you're basically just gonna fall to the floor, because everything under here is all broken. I am gonna try and move these seats up and higher because, well, I gotta get rid of the jeans that are under the seats, because you kind of just sink straight to the bottom of the car. And as you guys can see, my legs are pretty much fully extended, and it's kind of like super uncomfortable to drive like this. The seats do have a lever to move forward and back, but it doesn't work like most things on this car. But this has kind of been a project that I have been searching for a super long time, just because, well, this is one of like my dream cars. The body lines on this car are just unlike anything that you really see. You never see these cars anywhere, and this car doesn't need crazy body work, which is perfect. It needs all mechanical stuff, which we can handle, no problem. We don't need a big garage for that. And hopefully you guys love this car as much as I do so far. It is going to be so sick. So guys, stay tuned for more videos with this thing coming soon. I already have parts on the way, not all of them yet, so we're not gonna start working on this thing just yet, but we'll have a full video of just fixing a ton of stuff on this car. Probably next video with this. And I know videos haven't been very consistent lately. I've just been working a lot. As you guys know, I do have a full-time job outside of YouTube. And plus, since we finished the MG, and I mean, the Corvette's running great. It's just the whole bodywork thing with that, like I was saying earlier, that's kind of holding us up. This will kind of bring back how it was with the Corvette with the MG, is that we can go ahead and just crank out work with this thing. I'm in love with this car. I could stare at it all day. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be ending off this video here. Let me know how you guys like the Volvo down in the comments below. Thank you guys for the continued support, because, I mean, without you guys, none of this would be possible. But anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm going to be ending off this video here. Follow my social medias. They'll be on the outro of this video, Instagram and Snapchat I use the most. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends about the channel.